Good morning, everybody. I'm Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and this is Charter Moms Chats. And this summer, we've been offering ideas for how families can keep their kids learning at home in ways that are still educational and inspiring, but are safe to do during the COVID era. And the post we're sharing today was written by a guest blogger named Ramona Gutierrez, who has fostered over 70 dogs. This is amazing. She loves the puppies. And so, click the link is in the description of the video. So click through. There are some very cute pictures of puppies. I promise you, you need puppies today. Okay. And, but then our guest on the chats is Sarah from SNIPSA, which is that's the nonprofit organization that Mona works with for the dogs that she fosters at home. So let me tell you a little bit about Sarah. I hope I'm saying this right. Sarah Paseur. Is that, yes. Okay. So Sarah, her day job, she's a special education teacher, which, as y'all know, is close to my heart because I have a child with special needs. But she's also the foster coordinator at SNIPSA. So that means that she matches up. So SNIPSA does not have a facility. They don't have a shelter, but they rely on a network of volunteers who keep the foster pets at home, socialize them, get to know them, and help place them at families that'll be a good fit for them. So Sarah's job is keeping track of all that, which has got to be a huge job, but I'm sure she's passionate about it. Oh, so in the past, she worked at their Big Fix events, which are like spay neuter clinics, right? Sarah can talk more about that. And she has 6 dogs at home. Okay, Lucy, Sven, Eddie, Titiol, America, and Winona. And she has a foster dog, Pandora. So welcome, Sarah. Thank you. And tell us more about SNIPSA.
Hi, guys. So SNIPSA is an organization that works to rescue, rehab, and rehome dogs, as well as re-educate people about what it means to be a dog owner. We've existed since 2006. A group of parents decided, they were just concerned community members, decided that there was a need and that they were going to fill it. And so our executive director and founder, Shannon SB, ran with it. She's a vet, and she created SNIPSA with a great group of people. We rescue dogs from shelters typically. So we have a bunch of partnerships with kill shelters around the city, including San Antonio and the outlying areas. And we take their dogs in, we check them for all kinds of illnesses and everything. We treat them for whatever they have. And then we eventually find their homes for them. And then the re-educate part goes into our big fixes. Typically in a non-COVID world, we have about 4 a year. We have these big, giant, massive spay and neuter events. You can imagine it takes your dog all day long to get fixed. Well, in one day, we fix over 500 animals, cats and dogs, and we provide them with all their vaccinations and a microchip, totally no cost for the people in certain zip codes of the city. Unfortunately, right now, because of COVID, we can't do that. So we are really pushing our adoption program and getting dogs into homes to keep COVID, keep SNIPSA running, keep helping animals, and keep everyone safe during COVID.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up the URL. So this is where folks can go to find out more information about SNIPSA. So can you tell us more about the fostering in particular? Because that's, like you said, that's safe to keep doing during COVID, and that's something that Mona, our guest blogger, is very passionate about. She's been fostering dogs for many years, and it's something that it's very beneficial for the dogs and cats, but it's also really beneficial for the families who provide the foster homes, right?
So when we grab animals, every Tuesday is our intake day. We take approximately anywhere from 20 to 40 animals in one day, sometimes less, but typically around 20, and it's crazy. We get them all worked up, and then we send a call out. We call everyone we know, and we say, hey, you want a puppy? You want to take a dog for us? You want a cat? We just let them all know, and then our fosters or volunteers who decide that they want to help our animals, they say, I'd like this one. To become a foster, all they have to do is apply online. We check their veterinarian records with their vet to call to make sure their animals are vaccinated, because we are putting animals in their home that may possibly have different illnesses, because we just don't know for a couple of days. So we check that their animals are vaccinated. We talk to them so that they understand what they're getting into. And then we'll put an animal in your home, and you get to pick your animal. You get to come up, grab everything you need. We come out to your car. We drop it all off. It's all curbside to keep everyone safe. We drop off the food, the kennel, the toys, the water bowl, whatever you need, we provide for you. And then we bring you the sweet animal, whether it's a cat or a dog. And then you guys get to hold on to it until it's ready to be adopted. During the time that the dog is in your foster home, you get to help the dog become more comfortable with being around people. You get to socialize the dog, and make them more adoptable. And then you send them on their way to be adopted. Fostering has so many benefits. It teaches children patience, because when you have a dog that doesn't like you or doesn't like people, has never been around people, the kids have to learn to be patient and not how to just jump up and try to get their love. And that's just a great skill for kids to have anyway, because if you're walking on the street, you don't want your dog to, or someone to walk up to a dog and get bit. So it teaches children patience and how to be patient with the dog, help them come around, help them potty train, because potty training is a thing a lot of our dogs come not knowing how to do. So that also teaches responsibility to kids. And then, as Mona mentioned in her blog post, it can have a lot of educational opportunities. So you can teach kids about dog breeds. You can teach them about rescuing. If they're to a point, you could even teach them about why you spay and neuter your dogs, why you want to be how to be a responsible dog owner, because that's very, very important. Because if they're going to own dogs, they need to know how to do it right, dogs and cats, because we want to make the world a better place. Fostering for us, whenever you take a dog, it allows us to pull more dogs. So like Inga said, we don't have a shelter. We are not you can't come to our offices and see a bunch of dogs. You may see Pandora with me, because I bring her with me everywhere I go, but there's no office or no kennel for you to come and peruse dogs like at the pound. So when you take a dog from us, you allow us to pull more dogs from the shelters by having them in your home. Like I said, you get to help socialize the dogs. When dogs are in shelters, it's a scary place. It's loud. There's lots of crying and freaking out. It's cold. It's just a metal box. But when you take them home, you give them love. You teach them how to love, how to be a dog. If you have other animals, they get to learn from them. They get to socialize with them. You help us get to see if the dogs are good with kids, if they're good with cats, if they're good with other dogs, because all these things are important. And if they're not, then if they're not working out in your home, we can always take them back and get them in a new home that doesn't have whatever it is that set them off. With these dogs, it's when you adopt from a shelter, you don't know, like from a pound, you don't know if the dog is going to be good with cats, if they're going to be this. And because of that, it doesn't always lead to a good pair up. It doesn't lead to a good match. And then the dog ends up back at the shelter or, surrendered to someone else. But through SNIPSA, because you guys foster our animals, you let us learn these different traits before we send them into a home. That way we can prevent that mix match. Whenever you foster, you also give dogs a chance that wouldn't have had a chance to save their lives. Like Pandora, my foster dog. If you go on our website, you'll see all about her. She in our Facebook page. She is our SNIPSA story, our little hero dog. She's sitting right next to me. She got hit by a car. And so when we picked her up from the shelter, she was laying there like half dead, right? She needed help. And so when we got her up moving, we did surgery on her, we did all these things, and a shelter would have just put her to sleep, because unfortunately that's, they don't have the funds and they don't have the ability to do that. But because you foster with us, you allow SNIPSA to do that. You allow us to take those animals who didn't have a chance because of however many reasons, they were covered in fleas, whatever, and you let us save their lives. Another good thing for SNIPSA for fostering for you guys is that if you have other dogs and they haven't been around other dogs, when you bring dogs and cats into your home, you get to socialize your dogs as well. And my dogs, they're all a little persnickety, but I bring dogs in every day. I have a different foster dog that comes into my home, so they've gotten a lot more comfortable with being around other animals, which is a great trait. The biggest thing, I think, when you get to be a SNIPSA foster is that you get to be a part of the magic that keeps SNIPSA going. And there's some kind of magic about saving an animal's life and getting to see them go from a dog who is scared to come out of its kennel to a dog who's running around ruling your house. It's really, really awesome to get to be a part of that. And then the next step of getting them in their forever homes, like you get to see this dog who you thought was totally unadoptable end up in a beautiful home with a family, or with, just a mom and a dad, whatever, whatever kind of family they're going to have. You get to see them be happy and be so, so, so loved. You get to help make the family complete. And that's really special.
In Mona's post, she shared, so it's like for the section about like for teens. So Mona talked to her own daughter, who's going to be a senior in high school next year, and she asked her like how she felt about it. And that was one of the comments that that Mona's daughter made was seeing how the animals progress, and like seeing how they they can go from being like very small or weak, to being more sociable, and wanting to play, and like wanting to be part of their family. And I think that's a wonderful lesson to teach to kids. So I guess, so I mean, you're an educator and you're the foster coordinator at SNIPSA. So can you talk more about like what you touched on this a little bit, but like what children learn from fostering, and like how children can be involved in the fostering process?
So when you foster with a kid, it can be hard at first because kids get attached to puppies. I get attached to puppies, and I'm an adult. And so when I see a really cute little puppy, all I want to do is keep it forever. And one of the really cool things that SNIPSA teaches you is that, and fostering through SNIPSA teaches you, is that you get to put your all into something, and then you get to let it go and watch it thrive. And that's a skill that most kids don't learn until they're much older, like when they're having their own kids and they're adults. And so the fact that we get to teach kids that at such a young age, and teach them that, like, look what I did. I was so successful at taking this animal. And even if it was with the help of mom, obviously it's with the little older kids, but you still get to see, like, look at Baloo. Baloo's doing so good. Like, I have a 5 and a 7-year-old that come over and spend a lot of time with me, some of my really good friends' kids, and they helped me with all my foster puppies, because I've had a lot of puppies recently during puppy season, and they were so sad when they left. Yeah, right. They wanted to keep them all. They were like, Sarah, why aren't we keeping this dog? Why aren't you keeping this dog? And I'm like, no, I can't have too many dogs. But they also, they got to learn that you get to take a dog from one and turn it into something different. You get to create and let go, and letting go is okay. You can't have something in your life forever. Not all good things last. And you get to help them get through that. And then just like the more practical educational part of SNIPSA is that you can teach your dog so much about animals through SNIPSA, because we go into medical stuff. Most of our dogs that go home go with medicine. So whether it's a dewormer or kennel cough treatment or whatever it is, I had a dog that I was injecting with medication every day because they had parvo. They were very sick little puppies. And so, like, but no matter what kind of treatment it is, we get to talk about how these different medicines can affect, how they're working to do this, and how you have to give your medicine to the dog every single day. And that's a responsibility thing still. But you get to teach dogs about the science of it if you want to. You can teach them about the science of a dog and how dogs work, and how to keep an eye out for things that might not be right in the animal. Like, is the dog not walking right? Is the dog not doing this? And I think you can take it so deep into the science. And like Mona talked about, she talked about very specific different ways in her article of how you can teach. And you could take it to the point of teach about breeds, teach about specific things. She talked about different languages, doing it in, let's talk about dogs in Spanish and Vietnamese. I don't know, whatever language you want to teach your kids, you can work with them in it and relate it to dogs, something that they're passionate about. Because most of the time, people may not like dogs, but the second they get them in their homes, you can't help but love a puppy or an adult dog, no matter what it is. So it gives kids that, something they're excited about. And if you're trying to teach a kid something, but you relate it to something that they are passionate about, they learn so much better. So even whenever you, like if you want to work on math, work on stuff like that with your kid, okay, if we had 7 dogs already, and then we added 10 more dogs, how
much food do they eat?
Right, exactly. And you can calculate all that. And you could even do, the measuring of the food, because different weight dogs get a different amount of food. And I mean, you can just do so many cool things. And how much is the weight gain each, how much weight are they gaining? Are they gaining weight? Are they not? What do we need to do to fix this problem? There's lots of problem solving related to fostering. And then to make your end easier, even though you can do this educational stuff with your kid, if you do find a problem, we're right here. All you have to do is text us, so we'll fix the problem. So you don't have to actually solve the problem. But yeah, it's a really cool opportunity. It teaches kids just that responsibility that they won't get. And even with your own dogs, like even if you get a puppy and you have a little puppy and you watch it grow up and your kids get to help it grow up, if you have a puppy forever because you keep getting more different puppies, then they're really learning that responsibility. And they have to learn that you have to put in hard work for things that aren't, like I said, things that aren't going to stay forever. Hard work is important, and it's an important skill for kids to learn. So if you can teach a kid, I mean, obviously your kids probably already have work ethic, but you can really grow that work ethic, especially in younger children.
And you talked about like the SNIPSA community, right? That right, that it's a part of right, like when you foster a dog, you have that dog for a while, but then you're finding it at home, but then realizing that like every time you're able to like take in a dog and then find a further home for it, that's saving more animals from the shelters, right? And then
that's a big thing. A lot of people have to remind themselves. I have to remind myself of it sometimes. Whenever I had these really sweet puppies in my house, and I had to call our adoption coordinator and tell her, under no circumstances can you let me adopt one of these dogs. You have to take them out of my home. Like, I will foster them until they're ready to go, but you can't let me keep one. Because if I had kept one, I wouldn't have been able to take another dog and save another dog's life, and I wouldn't have ended up with my Pandora, who I'm now fostering and giving a chance at life. So that is, it's very important. And the cool thing is, we just had a foster. We have a Facebook page specifically for our fosters and volunteers. And we had a foster last night post. I know a lot of you are new, and I know it's hard to let go of dogs. Here's a dog I almost foster failed on. He was the best dog ever. We loved him. We wanted to keep him, but he got adopted. And it was heartbreaking whenever we had to give him up because we loved him so much. Here's a picture of him now, 2 years later. He's a therapy dog. He was like curled up in his dad's lap. Like that, they gave that dog everything that a dog could ever want. And that's the really cool thing about SNIPSA is you get to, like, yes, you could provide a good home for the dog. We wouldn't give you a foster dog if you couldn't, but by not only do you give that dog their very best chance by putting them in a really awesome home, you also get to open your home to those 70 other dogs like Mona, who you get 70 other dogs that you get to save and give that chance at just as great of a life.
Yeah, and Mona in particular, she's worked with military dogs as well. I think that's something unique, right? Like so she's had these like German Shepherd dogs or like Belgian Malinois, like these working breeds, and then her family will socialize them, but then they go on to like really do like life-saving work.
Right.
Mona's incredible.
Yes, she is. She's our favorite.
So tell me more about, like, in the context of the pandemic and coronavirus, like, what are you noticing that's different about? I mean, obviously it's harder to have events, but my sense is that there's a fair amount of demand for forever homes and for fostering. And so what do you think about, like, what's like the connection that people are seeking, or sort of how is SNIPSA operating differently during the pandemic?
So I'm going to share some numbers with you. These go from March to May, so they don't even include the very last month. So whenever we went in shutdown in March until May, the end of May, we've had 633 animals that we've taken in from the shelters. We've had 221 new fosters sign up in 2 months. Typically, we get like 1 or 2 a month, and we've had 212 since the COVID started. Yeah, we've had 536 adoptions, and we've had 7,748 emails sent to us about dogs, about fostering, about whatever. That's a lot, and that's amazing numbers for us. Right now, there are a lot of people quarantining, which is great because we have to be safe and we have to do what's best for our families to protect everyone. But in quarantine's very lonely. And if you don't have something to do to fill your time, or other people around you or whatever, it can be rough. And mean, we could get a whole other conversation about that and how.
Oh yeah, we've had some posts about social emotional learning and how to support everyone's
exactly.
well-being.
And I work right now as a teacher. I work with kids with emotional and behavioral disorders. So I'm seeing that tenfold in my students. And you can't. Quarantine's really hard to remove that social interaction from other people, that face-to-face. You just can't replace it. But one of the ways that SNIPSA has been trying to support that is through the animals. There's a lot of science, and I could pull up some articles and give you resources about the benefits, the emotional benefits of having animals around you. We all know that they say like having a dog adds years to your life, because it's just having not only the germs around you, but also the companionship. Really impacts you. And right now you may not be able to get a dog to keep forever, because in 6 months when we go back to everything, or however long it takes, you can't have a dog, you can't have a cat, whatever. But fostering allows you to have a buddy during that time while we're quarantining, and you just need something to fill your time with. If you're bored at home, hey, guess what? I've got bottle fed kittens you can take. Like we've got lots of animals that aren't needy necessarily. They don't necessarily need to be fed every 2 hours like a bottle fed kitten, but they they need someone to love them, and you need someone to fill your time. So SNIPSA helps fill that hole that people have that we've created through the social distancing. It gets you outside if you have a dog. If you're fostering a puppy from us, it gets you outside to take them on walks, to maybe go to the trails that you've always been meaning to go to by your house, and that can provide you with some safe social distancing from other people. If you see them, you can say, oh, hey, how's it going, and get that social interaction while also still staying safe. Fostering can just really, I mean, as you can see, we've had 212 people sign up to be a foster since COVID started. So people are in need of that, and we're thankfully able to fill the need. We constantly need more fosters. So all you people watching, we need more fosters. Come on, okay? This is our website that Inga just posted. Obviously, you can go to snipsa.org alone, and you can go to the Get Involved tab, or you can go straight to the SNIPSA Foster a Pet -2 and get a dog. Get involved with fostering however kind of animal you want. We would love to have any new volunteers that want to volunteer, because every day I'm calling out saying, hey, I have these dogs available. You want to take one? I've got these cats. Like today we're intaking right now. I'm at home still, but when I get to the office, we'll have dogs there ready for me to find homes for. So we always need more help and more volunteers, because while we're being very safe with COVID, we sanitize, we wear masks. Masks are required in our office, not just because of the ordinance, but that's what we were doing to keep us safe. We constantly sanitize. Any of the equipment that we're giving to you is clean. One, because dogs can share illnesses through illnesses that dogs can live on surfaces for up to a year. So we have to sanitize everything really, really well to begin with. But now with COVID, we're doing it also for you guys to keep you safe. Everything is curbside. So you just sit in your car, you text us, we come out to your door, put it all in the back of your car, and then put the puppy in the car, however you want. Because we're just trying to keep you safe and make everyone safe, because some of us, even at the office, have needs that can't be, we can't get sick. We don't have time for that. One, because this is our job. A lot of people, we can't just not work, because then we can't save animals, but also just health concerns. We don't want to get sick, and we need to keep people safe. So we're trying to keep you safe as well, by doing everything as curbside as possible. All the medications and everything, we will communicate with you in a safe way. And then the adoption process, when it does come to a dog that we are ready to have someone meet the dog, they can do it through the video chat. We've been doing a lot with Zoom and FaceTime and Skype and stuff like that, so that dogs or people can meet the dogs through the video to make it safer. And then if you're not comfortable with meeting with someone at a park or something, to have them meet the dog, you can always bring them back to the office, and we will facilitate the adoption for you in a socially distant way. So it's really, we're here to cater to whatever you need. As fosters, if you can only foster for a weekend, guess what? Here's a dog for the weekend. We will work with you. We just appreciate any help. we can get.
Having that support network, having like all the supplies and having, someone to ask for help. I think there are families
Right.
who, are interested in doing something with animals and want to have their kids learn, but they're afraid of making that whole commitment to adopting an animal and
Right, and
maybe
that's
not
the
having people to call
right.
for help.
And that's the cool thing. I have this phone right here. This is my SNIPSA phone. You can call at any time. If you have a foster animal, this is our foster phone. You can call or text, and we're always just a few minutes after to answer you and to give you the information you need. We've got vets, vet techs, a bunch of really knowledgeable people who have had dogs forever. We just have so many people ready and willing to help. If you're willing to take our dogs, we're going to help and support you however we can in that process. It's just great. And even on Facebook, if you post something on the Facebook, the SNIPSA Facebook page, people are automatically jumping at, here, let me give you this advice, let me give you that. And if it doesn't work out for some reason, if we put a dog in your home and it's not a good fit, we take the dog right back. You just bring him back to the office and we will find him a new foster home, because it's all about finding that right fit and making it easy for you guys while still y'all making it easy for us by helping us keep dogs.
Yeah.
And you can also foster. That's the thing that I didn't say. You can foster if you're not sure if you want a dog, but you're not sure if your kids can handle the responsibility, or you want a dog and you're not sure what kind of dog. The really cool thing with fostering is that you can foster 30 different dogs until you find the right one. And if you find a dog that you love and you want to keep it forever and you're fostering it, we can do that too. So we have a lot of foster fails. But we have many more not foster fails. But if you want to keep the dog, you definitely can. You still have to adopt and apply and everything, but it's really a good opportunity to learn what you're looking for as a dog, what kind of personalities you like, all that.
I hope that folks who watch this video or read the post, or hopefully both, like that they're realizing that this fostering process is a way to, take care of animals, be involved with animals, have animals in your life, but with that kind of flexibility and support, so that it's safe for the humans and safe for the animals. And it sounds like, I mean, you guys have it's always been based on what it's an organization led by veterinarians, so it's always been like science based and focused on like good
Safety
health
first.
for the animal. Yeah. Well, do you have any kind of like closing thoughts or messages or wishes for families who are maybe thinking about fostering a dog or cat?
If you're thinking about fostering, whether it's a dog or cat, kitten, puppy, whatever you're looking for, we don't do chinchillas, so you can't come to us for that. But if you're looking to foster, please, please, please reach out. You can reach out by applying at snipsa.org. You can also email us, snipsafoster@gmail.com. We've got numbers on the website that you can call or text, that you're welcome to contact us. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer any of them. You can write it on this Facebook post, and I'll look at it and I'll comment and give you guys any feedback you need. We would love to have anyone willing to help, no matter how long it is that you guys can help. If you're not sure about it and you want to try a weekend first, or even just a couple weekdays, let me know, and I'm happy to work with you guys. We love getting to teach kids about dogs and getting to teach them responsibility with cats and dogs. And if that's something you're looking to do with your kids this summer, please reach out and let us help you and help us. So thank you guys so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for being on Charter Moms Chat.
Of course.